Reuben Foster was sent home from the NFL Combine this week. And it was for an altercation with a hospital worker. I guess they were shouting at each other, and it was behavior that was deemed inexcusable. I don't know all the details of the actual argument itself, but I guess the shouting match escalated pretty good. So then all these people were talking yesterday. I love the talking heads. And there's like, well, where do you see Reuben Foster going? And it was still pretty much a consensus. He's going to go top 10. He's that talented. Now, I have nothing against Reuben Foster. I don't know his character. I don't know his mindset after that incident, and really don't even know how big of an incident that actually was. But the more I thought about it, why would you take an inside linebacker top 10 regardless of how talented he is? Think about this. Besides like 2 or 3 guys, the inside linebacker's not full of a whole lot of playmakers or difference makers. The position as a whole is just on a downward trend. The league's become a passing league. It's a finesse league. It's a wide open league. So the downhill linebacker that you need, you just don't need him anymore. I'm going to make a case that the inside linebacker is the least necessary position on your defense. Start my case with this. Growing up, a big thing were guys that led the league in tackles or getting, if you got 100-plus tackles, you were a good player. 120-plus tackles, I were looking at you, probably some Pro Bowl consideration. 140-plus tackles, ooh, that guy's really good. Let me list off the guys who were top 10 in tackles last year. Bobby Wagner, Zach Brown, Christian Kinksey, Quan Alexander, Sean Lee, Preston Brown, Alec Ogletree, Paul Puzlunski, Zach Orr, Tahir Whitehead. If you're a casual fan, you maybe knew like 2 names that I just listed off. The other 8 guys, once again, not here to speak bad upon anyone, but they're not big-time names, and they're not big-time players. Let me list off who, in my opinion, the 5 best linebackers are. No particular order. I'm not ranking them 1 through 5. These are just simply who I think the 5 best are. Luke Kuechly, Von Miller, Khalil Mack, Justin Houston, Sean Lee. I was a little torn. I think Sean Lee and Bobby Wagner, you could probably say, are tied. I think those would be my last 2 entries on the list. But either or, whichever one you want to do. Those 5 guys aren't known for being downhill linebackers. 3 of the 5 are pass rushers. Sean Lee's more known for being a zone coverage type of linebacker. And Luke Kuechly, I'll give the exception to. He's just a beast. Whatever you need him to do, he could probably do it. He could probably play corner if you need him to bad enough. I got him on Madden. He can play tight end. He can catch. Like, the man's just a stud. The big physical, I need 120 tackles. I need 140 tackles. I need to be tough. Football's a tough sport. Need my big tough linebacker. The position's just not needed anymore. The last great middle linebacker that we're going to see like that was Ray Lewis. And we probably, unless there's a big culture change and a big shift in how the league does its business and how teams do their business, Ray Lewis is probably going to stay the last great big-time linebacker we have. Think of a guy, DeQuell Jackson. DeQuell Jackson got 2 nice free agent contracts because he was always 140, 150 tackles. You'd see him on the leaderboards every single year. Is anyone going to remember DeQuell Jackson in 10 years? Is anyone going to be like, wow, DeQuell Jackson was a great player. DeQuell Jackson, do you see all those Pro Bowls that he made? Do you see all those great teams he was on? No. DeQuell Jackson's been out of the league for 2 years, and most people are probably trying to find out what team he was on as I started talking about him. It's not a disrespect to Reuben Foster. I'm not trying to speak bad about any of these guys that are on the top 10 tackles list. But just being a guy who can get tackles is no longer that valuable. And I'd make the case being a corner, being a pass rusher are by far the two most important positions on the field. Being a run-stopping defensive lineman and being a playmaking safety all exceed being a great tackle linebacker. Look at the guys who aren't necessarily great tackle, big physical linebackers, but are great in coverage. Because now you got to cover tight ends. Because tight ends are out here. They're all 6'4", 6'5", former basketball players catching 80 to 100 passes a year. You get guys then like Brandon Marshall, Danny Trevathan. Sean Lee's a great example of the coverage linebacker, which has far exceeded and has far more importance than the downhill guy. And Reuben Foster right here, he's got pretty good coverage skills. But until you've been in the NFL and you're guarding those tight ends, we don't know how he's going to play in those situations. Because the best tight end in college football was on his team. So outside of practice, he never had to cover that guy. So I think it's crazy to take a linebacker with a top 10 pick or an inside linebacker with a top 10 pick. But what do I know?